Hey everybody, welcome back to Alfonso Speaks and welcome back to the Sarah Boone trial. In today's video, we're going to get into a former attorney of Sarah Boone during this trial, one that she got rid of, who is going to describe what his experience was working alongside her. So that should be interesting. Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, turn the bell on for notifications. Consider getting yourself a channel membership so you see all these videos ahead of time, not when they're released, but when they're uploaded. $5 a month, a special perk that you get if you really enjoy watching Alfonso Speaks. It's there, it's available for you. Also, follow me on my social medias. You see those down below. And let's get into this video. What was it like working with Sarah Boone?
Welcome back. In our spotlight this morning, some inside knowledge for you about what it's like to be one of Sarah Boone's attorneys. You know Sarah Boone, the defendant in the suitcase murder trial. Well, she's on her 9th lawyer right now, and so far, so good. But 3 court-appointed attorneys who used to represent her went before a judge to get paid, telling the court what it was like to represent Sarah Boone.
Like previous counsel, spent an inordinate amount of time with Miss Boone. I spent over 20 hours during my period of time that I was representing her. I believe that for multiple reasons, the court can find that this case was extraordinary and unusual, and that it would be confiscatory to not pay me the flat fee.
Get this, one attorney even said he had to put up with Boone's gaslighting. How about that? Now, the judge granted payment of $15,000 for each of those attorneys who had not been paid, of course, plus some other fees.
What? Hey, yo, I might be in the wrong profession. Because ain't no way they got paid $15,000 just to get fired. What? That's insane. That's a lot of money, man. I don't know how long each of them was on the trial, but you gotta think she went through 8, 9 attorneys, whatever, how many? And then she ends up firing all of them. So they it's not like that's like less than half a year. It's probably like a month or two for most of them at most, and they got paid 15 grand for that. That is crazy, man. But hey, good on them. Good on them. I hope Daryl Brooks' attorneys that he fired ended up getting paid as well.
So hopefully everyone is receiving the compensation that is owed to them. And I've long said that all of those attorneys deserve a medal for tolerating her. That's just my opinion. And I want to bring in one of those attorneys who should get a medal right now. I want to welcome in attorney Frank Bankowitz. He was number 6 in the order that we've been counting, and we're so pleased to have him here alongside Court TV digital producer Lauren Silver, who's been digging.
Okay, so this was attorney number 6 that she had fired right here. Hopefully he tells us his name.
In researching this case for us, following all of the progression through the years, and we're so happy to dig in with you both this morning. So, Frank, let me start with you. Welcome. Thank you for doing this, and talk to us a little bit, please, about what it was like to represent Sarah Boone.
Well, it was an unusual situation.
Frank Bankowitz. Frank Bankowitz. Okay.
Case had a lot of publicity, and Miss Boone was very involved with her own defense, and she wanted her attorneys to be also that involved, regardless of what other cases they had. So it was an experience.
Sure. And I know right now her current legal team is saying they're going to present battered spouse syndrome as their defense. And I understand that that was also something that you had intended to present, but there was a problem that Sarah had with it. What was that, Frank?
She did not like the expert witness that we had chosen to assist in that defense, and could not get along with that person. At times refused to communicate, meet with, or do any assistance with the expert that we had retained.
So, okay. I remember this from the last video. the battered spouse defense, which basically is pretty much what it sounds like. If you're in a domestic relationship and you're being abused constantly, and one day you just snap and uh, you end up taking the life of your abuser, it's a defense that you can put on that could potentially, um, have you come out without, prison time, or with significantly reduced prison time at the very least. And she was giving them a hard time about that was gonna probably be. I mean, I don't know if that would have been a good defense because, yeah, yeah, like when she was saying there was that it was an accident, at first, so that would be kind of um contradictory. It wouldn't make any sense. I feel like the prosecution would tear that defense apart.
So an issue with an expert. Okay. And we know that her team is also taking issue with something else, with the interrogation that was done. And it was videotaped. We watched it in depth. And apparently they're saying that she was not properly given her warnings pursuant to Miranda versus Arizona. Frank, curious if you agree with that.
He was not giving her warnings necessarily on the video itself, but from my investigation, they had been given prior to the actual starting of the camera. Miss Boone's biggest complaint was the publication of that video by the sheriff's department on such things as YouTube, and which has created a very impossible task in picking a jury that would be impartial in the case.
I'm still not understanding how George fit in that suitcase, though, to begin with. Again, I haven't seen any information about how tall he was, how many pounds he weighed, anything like that. I again, I'm 6'2". I'm about 215. I'm not fitting in any suitcase that I have in my house, and I have some pretty big ones. So it's just been confusing to me from the start. Like, how did he even fit in this suitcase? It is mind boggling to me.
Understood, Frank. And I have a clip from the interrogation. Let's take a look at it together now.
I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't, that, you
He's
all...
telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Okay, I want to bring in Lauren Silver to accompany you here on Frank for some questions. Now, Lauren, you're digging in. This motion her attorneys have filed. Tell us a little bit about this latest motion and what essentially they're trying to do here, please.
All right, so the motion that they filed to suppress, this is a motion to suppress the full interrogation done by Orange County Sheriff's deputies. This was an extensive interrogation done on February 25th, the day after the death. And they are claiming that the Miranda card, which the deputies physically read off of, was done twice incorrectly. And specifically what they're alleging is that the very last sentence was let off. So that very last sentence is, having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now? The rest of them, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. All those things we're used to from watching here on Court TV and also shows like Law and Order. Those were all read properly. It's on video. The question is that last sentence and whether that last sentence not being read is enough to suppress. Her attorney, James Owens, is also claiming that she was coerced in making the statements because when she walked in, deputies told her things like, you have to talk to us. We found some things on the autopsy we need to talk to you about. and creating what he is calling a false sense of urgency that he's determining as coercion.
Ooh, Lauren, this is interesting, and I love that you brought with us your discussion points today, that card, so that we could see that very last line is what defense counsel is taking issue with. So, Frank, back to you on that. Was it legally necessary for these officers to read that line to her?
Yes, it was. They are required to read the entire card, everything that is on the card, and they normally get a piece of paper that is a checklist of what they have instructed or advised against, and they usually have the individual sign that piece of paper. I did not, in my recollection, see that signed waiver card.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, thank you for that. So this is something big, and Lauren, thank you as well. This is something huge we're going to watch to see if all that footage that we watched on this program is going to be tossed. We'll see. Frank, with respect to Sarah and the interactions, I understand you had her for about 14 months representing her. Did you?
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. That's a long time. So I wonder how much he got paid. 14 months, man. What in the world? Okay, guys. You know what I'm gonna do. Doing some research. uh okay, so she was arrested in February 2020. Okay, over the next several years. Okay, so I guess I was a little bit confused about how much time had passed between her arrest and like this interview being recorded. The eighth attorney withdrew in mid 2024. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So I guess each of them represented her for a pretty decent amount of time to be demanding $15,000. I mean, let's see. I mean, February of 2024 to they're saying mid 2024, so I'll say that's about 4 years, 4 months, so about 52 months total between 8 attorneys, which means they all represented. She was represented by each of them on an average of half a year at least. And again, this guy was 14 months, so that's a. I really wonder how much he got reimbursed for that.
To get along, were you able to get along well with her?
That's a tough question. We got along.
First of all, he just made me mad. I hate when people cough into their hand. Can't stand it. Pet peeve. Here we go. Back to the video.
As long as I was there and we had open access, which at times we did not. But it was a matter of seeing her physically, that she wanted her attorneys, not just me, but all of her attorneys, to be able to be at her disposal. And that's difficult when you have other clients to represent.
Right, most certainly. Yeah, tell us about your job, your career, where you've worked.
I didn't even think about that. I hate to be rude, but I don't care about necessarily the history of where he's worked and stuff. I didn't even think about that. When you have a public appointed or a court appointed attorney, yeah, they're going to be representing multiple people at the same time. Like, you got to be wealthy and have your own lawyers if you want their undivided attention, right? We looked at the Diddy trial, for example. We haven't looked at that on this channel because you can't. But the Diddy trial, he had his own team of attorneys. They work around the clock for him because he pays them to do that. When you have a court appointed attorney, it doesn't work like that. So she was asking for things that, quite frankly, just weren't going to happen. But very, very interesting. Um, I hope he isn't the only lawyer that's spoken about this, but just some interesting nuggets there. Okay, cool. So that'd be it for this video. You guys know what to do. It's all down below. Just subscribe. You know you want to. Just subscribe. Subscribe so you can keep hearing my voice because you guys say you love it so much. Subscribe so you can keep hearing it. All right, guys. Stay safe. Stay blessed. I'll see you next time. Bye.